My name is Alan, and in this video I'm going to show you the best organization system for Magic the Gathering out there. Period. I'm going to get right to the punch. This is the best system for organizing your Magic the Gathering collection. Not this storage unit specifically, but you will probably want something like it. No, it's the system that I use that's the best. You can see most of it already here on the front. Inside each drawer is 2 rows of Magic the Gathering cards, with cards corresponding to the cards on the front, so artifacts have artifacts, etc, etc, etc. Let's head back to the disc and I'll break down the whole system. The system that I use sorts cards into colors, with additional sections for non-basic lands and cards that can be commanders. Then I alphabetize the cards within that section. There's a few weird cases that you have to decide on for yourself. For colorless cards, I include the colorless cards like the Eldrazi, as well as artifacts. I keep a section for non-basic lands and basic lands. I also keep the basic lands organized, but it's not really required or suggested. You can just have a giant box of basics if you want. I also have a drawer just for any cards that can be the commander. There I organize them by all the sections that I use for the collection overall. The classic Wooburg, then gold, and then colorless. Any type of card that can be a commander goes in there. So any planeswalkers or like vehicles that say can be commander on it. This is my storage solution and it isn't required by any means. As I mentioned before, this was made for me by my friend at Computer Aided Crafting. He does a lot of CNC machine stuff and some fancy leather book bindings. Hashtag not sponsored, but I do really like these. So this is actually 2 wooden card houses, each one with 6 drawers and 2 rows in each drawer. It has little curved handles in the front, so you can easily grab them, slide a drawer out, and slide a drawer back in. Pretty slick, right? Should be, I designed it. Anyways, this is a bit extreme for most people, but there are other options for this type of system. For a long time, I used the BCW card house, and it was fine, but I slowly started outgrowing it, so I had to upgrade. You don't even really need the house, you can just have a pile of boxes if you want. Or if your collection is small, just have one BCW box. You can still have sections, but I use dividers in those sections. I used a bunch of these dividers that I got on Amazon. They're like 15 bucks for 100. They have smaller bundles, but I use these also for my Marvel Champions card, so I need a bunch. I'll have Amazon affiliate links for the card house, the boxes, and anything else I can think of in this video in the description. I'll get a small cut of any purchases from that, so thank you in advance. You have a lot of storage options for this system, but you should not use binders. Binders are really terrible for organized collections. A trade binder is great, sure. Having a binder to house your collection of 139 Heirloom Minotaurs, also great. But keeping your collection organized is not a job for a binder. Let me show you what I call the Cultivate Conundrum. Cultivate is a really good card. It's a go-to card in many EDH decks that have green in it, or it should be at least considered for any EDH deck that has green in it. WotC knows this, so they print a bunch of it. People need lots of Cultivates, and WotC gives them lots of Cultivates. Now, here are the sets that have a printing of Cultivate in its standard art form. Planechase 2012, Mystery Boosters, Magic 2011, Masters 25, Commander 2013, 2016, Commander 2017, Commander 2018, Commander 2019, Commander 2020, Commander 2021, Commander Anthology Volume 2, Streets of New Capenna Commander decks, Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, the original Commander series, Planechase Anthology, the Starter Commander decks, the March of Machine Commander decks, Jumpstart 2022, Arch Enemy Nicol Bolas, Dominaria United Commander decks, Phyrexia All Will Be One Commander decks, Core Set 2021, Commander Legends Adventures, Commander Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Additionally, Cultivate has been produced with special art in the Black is Magic Secret Lair, an F&M promo, Warhammer 40,000 Commander decks, Strixhaven Mystical Archives but the Japanese versions, Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Commander decks, and again in 2021, Core Set, but with its own alternate art. You can see where having individuals for these sets are not super practical, given all the subsets and extra product Wizards are producing these days. 35 binders versus a couple of boxes. Plus, in binders you have to either block out the entire set in the binder, leaving you tons of open spaces, or you have to bump cards around to keep them in alphabetical order. Now I admit, I have done that before, and it is tedious. If you're the type of person who can just put cards willy-nilly into a binder without some form of sorting, then I don't know what to tell you. You need a therapist, not a YouTube video. In addition to your physical storage and your system, you're going to need 2 more things: a scanner app for your phone and a deck building website where you can upload the collection from your app to the website. There are a number of apps for your phone that can handle this. I've heard good things about Delver Lens and MTG Scanner on Android. A lot of people use ManaBox on iOS. I generally use HellVault. Now, each of these apps will have their own price and functionalities. Some will be free with upgrades that you have to pay for. You'll have to figure out which one works for you. But all of them will function more or less the same for our purposes, which is scanning and having your collection information with you wherever you go. If you've ever manually entered an entire collection into an Excel spreadsheet, you know how much time and energy scanner apps can save. In addition to that, they're a great way to see your collection at a glance. You may be trading with someone or picking up singles at your local game store, and you need to know what you already have. Now that we have our phone app, we're going to need to export our collection from it and upload it to a website. Now, the website you use should be able to do these things: be a reference for your collection, have a competent deck building suite, and compare cards in your decks against your collection, letting you know which cards you have and which ones you need to get to complete that deck. I would also recommend a site that provides a price estimate as well as a way to export the missing cards directly into TCG Player or wherever you buy singles so you can directly order the exact cards that you still need. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Use Moxfield. It's honestly the best Magic website. It has great explore options where you can find really great decks, and not just homogenized decks like you find on EDHREC. Additionally, it has an outstanding deck builder, like top-of-the-line stuff. Not only will it show you what cards you have and not while building the deck, it'll also let you choose exact printings and versions. It'll let you apply custom tags for cards, change views from like text to the card picture. It's just really great. And you can choose whatever site you like, but I highly recommend giving Moxfield a shot. And that's it, really. Have an app where you can reference your collection, use a site that ties into your collection, get a big box or mini boxes, sort them, alphabetize them, and you are golden. Now let me show you how it works in practice. In this footage, I've just bought in a couple packs and a couple new singles. I want to get the cards into my collection. So what I do is I start sorting them into color type, colorless, and non-basic lands. Then go through, take the pile of non-basic lands, alphabetize them, and put them down. Then I do colorless and set those on the non-basics. I repeat this, creating a pile with the white cards on top, so the stack goes white, blue, black, red, green, gold, colorless, and non-basics. Then I set up my tablet holder in my phone, I put a blankish background underneath, and take a chunk from the pile. I'll place it next to where I'll be scanning, then I take a card and put it on the neutral background and process the scan. Then put it face down on the other side of my scanning station. As I come across any legends or cards that can be commanders, I'll put them into their own pile. After I've scanned all the cards, I'll flip the big pile over so that the white cards are on top. Then I'll tear down the scanning station and get the drawer with the white cards. Put the white cards from the pile in the white drawer alphabetically, then continue on to the next colors until I've done non-basics. Then I do the commanders, and I'm done. If it's been a while, I'll then re-upload my collection to Moxfield, overwriting the old one. But if it's just 1 or 2 cards being added, I'll just manually update the collection on the website. That's pretty much it, but here are a few tips to help with the collection organization. Keep a small box on your desk. You could use a deck box, but I use a plastic burger token foldable box. If you get new cards or take cards out of a deck that are going to go back into the system and you don't want to do that right away, put them in the box. Once the box is full, force yourself to get them into the system and put away. This helps keep your desk area uncluttered. At one point, my goal was to have one of every card that I owned in the collection, mostly for commander purposes. Unfortunately, that proved to be too cumbersome. I would suggest not even bothering putting cards you know you won't ever play into the collection. My personal strategy is to aggressively not put cards into the collection, especially if they are common or uncommon. A lot of times, if it's worth less than 25 cents, I'll just keep it out of the collection and put it in a bulk box in my closet. If I need it later, I'll just order it online. Man, that's lazy, but it really works for me. If you have any questions about the system, feel free to leave a comment on the video and I'll get back to you ASAP. You can also reach out to me on Threads. I just signed up there and I think that's going to be my outside of YouTube platform. Feel free to throw me a follow. I'll be mostly posting pictures of my dogs. Thank you for watching Element Hobbies and I will see you around.